Thank you. It's absolutely amazing listening to all of this, and thank you, Zach. I mean, I am a doctor. I'm completely out of this zone. I've obviously heard about AI and how it's going to take over. It's nice to hear from you that it's all doomsday spread of news by the media. But Kanav's here, so I'll let him explain with the project that he's working on.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm working on a project about my mother tongue, which is Assamese. So my parents are originally from a place called Guwahati, and it's in northeast India in the state of Assam. And so recently, I've taken up the challenge of trying to build an Assamese language learning app, because I've realized that there's not much Assamese language learning in mainstream apps like Duolingo or likewise. So right now we're well in the pre-launch phase. So I've written like a business proposal. I've used AI to refine it and make it more appealing to investors, I guess. And I'm also collecting consumer research.
But it's not just learning.
And I guess my niche is that with Duolingo, because I'm a Duolingo user right now, my niche is that it's not kind of, I guess, become fluent at the language, but to really nail the basics. And also, I'm trying to add like a tourist phrase book, which would just be simple phrases that tourists could use when visiting Assam.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I think actually this.
Can I, Zach? Before you,
yes,
sorry.
Yes.
So I am Assamese. So what it is, he's thinking along those lines. But my idea was that, you know, second gen kids, they tend to forget their mother tongue. And they also lose kind of, as a parent, I feel like I'm trying my best, but they can lose touch with their roots, you know, cultural roots and things like that. And the Assamese language is not spoken by too many people in the world. I mean, there are still millions being in India, but still, you know, there is a chance that, you know, second gen kids will completely forget about it. So in the end, we are hoping to introduce cultural aspects to kind of draw in kids of whatever age, from say 3, 4, 5 years up until even adults, so that they can keep in touch with the roots and also learn the language. So when they go back, they don't feel like a foreigner, but they feel like someone who is a part of that culture.
It makes total sense. And I'm married actually to a non-native English speaker, and I totally get this concern of what happens with, you know, second generation and all of this. So there's actually a lot of possibility here with AI, because I mean, they're called language models for a reason, right? They're good at this kind of stuff. So hearing what you're saying, I think there's a whole bunch of different ways that you could apply this. So let's go from like the most fundamental thing, and then we'll go up to we'll go up to, like, let's say, kind of like practical applied things. The most fundamental thing is that there are actually people who are organizing and putting into like basically training small other models on endangered languages. Okay, so I'll drop an example of a research paper here that talks about this. That's like maybe something interesting. So the idea here is that what these people do is they gather as much text and also as much speech as they can in this language, right? And then they will often work with someone that's knowledgeable about how to, you know, fine tune or generate AI models, and basically create models that can synthesize the speech correctly in an endangered language, and also, you know, write text in the endangered language in a way that is like grammatically correct and that has a big vocabulary and all of that. So if we go to all that's like a fundamental layer that's almost like an interesting academic project, right? But that also could be the core technology of some of the experiences that you're talking about, right? Like if you're able to pull that off, suddenly you have something very cool, very novel for a language learning app or a translation app or help me speak this, help me learn the vocabulary, whatever. Okay, so let's go one level above and get a little bit more like, let's say, a little less academic. From the standpoint of actually putting together your dictionary or your phrase book or this, I think this is something. Are there data sets of this language now? Are there like organized collections of work in this language?
Oh gosh, I really wouldn't know. I'm so sorry about it,
Sure.
Zach. I really wouldn't know.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I know, when I was researching for my business proposal, I came across like a few websites that can, I guess they can just translate word for word what you type into them. So one of them would be called Glosb, I think it's called. And then there is another one, but I guess that's just word for word translation. There's no learning about it. It's just like Google Translate, basically.
Right. So I would say like step one, I think to pull off any of these things is to try to find if anyone, oftentimes some professor somewhere will have like some big list of, words or some, collection of literature in this language or like something like this. And the reason is that I suspect you could put together your tourist phrase book in collaboration using something like Claude Code, which I showed earlier for Morgan, or using a tool like Google Gemini. And the idea would be you take that data set, you're going to put it along, like make it available to that tool, right? Which I just won't go into the details now, but you're making it available to that tool. And then you could go essentially page by page or chapter by chapter and be like, okay, this is a popular English. These are all the phrases that like a standard English phrase book has. Let's go step by step and let's translate each one of those phrases. You have it translated, and then, maybe you check it, right? And make sure that it's good. And then you save that as the output. And what it's going to do is it's going to speed up the execution of your tourist phrase book, much, much, much faster. Then you can use the same tool to generate the cover image for your book, right? And then you can use the same tool to generate the marketing copywriting that's going to go into your Amazon listing so that you can sell the phrase book, right? So what I would say is like step one is try to find some kind of data set so that you can begin to use AI in this workflow with this language. And then kind of a lot is possible. Your application becomes possible, your phrase book becomes possible, all kinds of stuff becomes possible. But none of it becomes possible if the language model does not have some kind of knowledge basis of the language. That's the critical thing to figure out first. Once you have that as well, you could probably build a prototype of a language learning app using something like this, which I'll drop into chat. It's called V0. You're not going to be able to go all the way to market with this, but I would strongly recommend once you have a good idea to just kind of talk to that model and put the little website that comes out of it online and use that in your business pitch, because it's going to feel much more tangible to the person reading your pitch. And you don't even need to really like learn to code to get to that first prototype. You can just talk to this V0 model. It's going to give you a pretty good looking kind of prototype application for that.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Thanks very much.
So thanks so much, Zach, for
Absolutely.
joining. I know you got to get back to a busy day of building with AI, so we'll leave you to it. But thanks so much for joining, and thanks everyone else for coming with your questions. And we'll pick up all of these threads with you in subsequent sessions.
Thank you all. Great to meet you. You're all very impressive, and keep doing what you're doing.